Let's do some brutal Canadian math. If you are a senior relying primarily on the old age security and the guaranteed income supplement, your maximum monthly income sits somewhere around $1,800 to $1,900 in Toronto. That entire amount will not even cover the rent for a damp one-bedroom basement apartment, let alone groceries, hydro, or a single prescription. In Vancouver, it barely pays for a room in a shared house. For decades, the Canadian retirement dream meant paying off a suburban home, downsizing, and living comfortably on the equity. But for a growing number of older Canadians who never entered the property market or who lost their savings along the way, that dream has been entirely shattered. The financial anxiety of aging in a major urban center is paralyzing. You are forced to choose between heating your apartment and eating a nutritious meal. But there is a different map of this country that most real estate agents will never show you. Beyond the congested highways of southern Ontario and outside the hyperinflated valleys of British Columbia, there are still functioning inhabited communities where that exact same government pension actually has purchasing power. These are places where you can buy a house outright for the price of a city condo deposit, or find rental apartments that actually leave money in your bank account at the end of the month. Let me be perfectly clear. I am not a realtor, and I am not here to sell you a fairy tale. Every single town we are about to explore comes with severe compromises. You might be trading financial stress for geographical isolation, brutal winter storms, or a lack of specialized healthcare. But for those staring down a retirement defined by poverty, these 10 towns represent something invaluable, a realistic way to survive. If you value this kind of unfiltered, data-driven reality, hit the subscribe button right now. And let's pull up the map. Let us begin with a town that was literally engineered to solve the exact crisis we are talking about: Elliott Lake, Ontario. Back in the 1950s, this place was carved out of the dense northern wilderness for one single purpose, which was mining uranium. When the uranium market completely collapsed in the 1990s, the town was staring down the barrel of total extinction. Instead of letting the community turn into a ghost town, the local government executed a radical pivot. They rebranded the entire municipality as a retirement haven, actively marketing their rock-bottom housing prices to seniors who were being priced out of major urban centers, like Toronto. Today, that legacy means you are moving into a community where the infrastructure has already been adapted for an aging population. The housing market here is a genuine lifeline for anyone surviving on a strict government pension. You can comfortably purchase a classic, solid bungalow for around $185,000. We are not talking about a rundown shack either. A typical listing at this price point will give you exactly 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and roughly 1,200 square feet of total usable living space, often with a finished basement and a modest yard. If buying is absolutely out of the question, the rental market is equally forgiving. You can secure a clean, well-maintained one-bedroom apartment for roughly $900 a month, leaving you with enough leftover cash for groceries and utilities. But the most critical question for any retiree is what happens the day you are forced to hand over your driver's license. In many small towns, losing your car means losing your independence. Elliott Lake is a rare exception because the demographic is so heavily skewed toward seniors. The town operates a highly reliable public transit system that connects residential neighborhoods directly to grocery stores, thriving thrift shops, and bustling senior recreation centers. More importantly, St. Joseph's General Hospital is located right inside the town limits, meaning you have immediate access to emergency care without needing to coordinate a massive road trip. However, the reality check here is absolutely relentless, and it comes in the form of winter. When the cold season hits northern Ontario, it does not just inconvenience you, it aggressively isolates you. Temperatures frequently plummet to a punishing -20 Fahrenheit, and the snow can pile up high enough to keep you trapped indoors for days at a time. This level of extreme cold means your monthly heating bill will skyrocket, instantly threatening your carefully planned $1,800 budget. Furthermore, while the local hospital handles everyday emergencies, any need for specialized medical treatments will force you to travel over 100 miles east to the city of Sudbury, a journey that becomes incredibly dangerous during a massive winter storm. If Elliott Lake represents the absolute bottom of the real estate market, our next stop, Lethbridge, Alberta, sits at the higher end of a low-income budget. This is a city built on the agricultural wealth of southern Alberta, sitting just over 100 miles south of Calgary. What makes Lethbridge an incredibly strategic choice for retirees is the province's tax structure. Alberta is the only province in Canada with no provincial sales tax, which means every time you buy a winter coat, a piece of furniture, or a used vehicle, your government pension stretches exactly 5% further than it would anywhere else. It is a modern, bustling small city that offers a substantial upgrade in daily amenities without the staggering financial penalty of a major metropolis. The housing market here requires more upfront capital, but it delivers exceptional value. A well-maintained, mid-century detached home typically lists for around $285,000 for that price. You are securing a highly functional property featuring exactly 4 bedrooms to full bathrooms and approximately 1,800 square feet of total usable living space, usually complete with a substantial backyard and a detached garage. If that purchase price is too heavy for your remaining savings, the local rental market provides a highly viable alternative. You can lease a comfortable, modern one-bedroom apartment in a secure building for roughly $1,150 a month. While this consumes a larger portion of a standard $1,800 monthly income, the complete lack of property taxes and maintenance costs makes it manageable for many seniors. When the day comes that you can no longer drive safely, Lethbridge does not leave you stranded. Unlike rural villages, this city operates a comprehensive public transit network with buses running through major residential neighborhoods, directly to major grocery chains, thrift stores, and the highly active Nordbridge Senior Center. More crucially, the massive Chinook Regional Hospital is located right in the center of the city. You have immediate, local access to emergency rooms, cardiovascular specialists, and advanced diagnostic imaging without having to coordinate a grueling 2-hour drive across frozen highways. However, the reality check in Lethbridge is atmospheric, and it is absolutely relentless. The city is famous for the Chinook winds that roar down from the Rocky Mountains. While these winds can drastically raise temperatures to 50 degrees Fahrenheit and melt snow in the middle of January, they blow with a ferocity that can literally rattle your windows and keep you awake at night. The sudden violent shifts in barometric pressure are notorious for triggering severe migraines and joint pain. Additionally, despite having a massive regional hospital, Alberta's rural healthcare system is currently under immense strain, meaning you might still face terrifyingly long wait times to actually see a specialist. You are trading financial stability for a climate that will constantly test your physical endurance. Leaving the windy foothills of Alberta, we move east into the heart of the Canadian prairies to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, known historically for its notorious underground tunnels and deep agricultural routes. This city of about 33,000 people offers a striking balance of heritage, architecture, and modern prairie living. It is a place where the pace of life slows down dramatically, making it highly appealing for seniors who want peace without sacrificing basic city infrastructure. The real estate market here provides incredible stability for a fixed income. You can easily purchase a charming, historic, detached house for roughly $225,000. For this remarkably accessible price, you are typically getting a solid property that features exactly 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and around 1,400 square feet of total usable living space. Often situated on a generous lot with mature trees, if purchasing a home is no longer part of your retirement strategy, the rental market in Moose Jaw is both present and affordable. You can sign a lease for a bright, well-maintained 1-bedroom apartment near the downtown core for approximately $1,050 a month, which leaves a comfortable margin in an $1,800 monthly budget for food and utilities. But what happens when navigating icy streets behind the wheel becomes too dangerous? Moose Jaw handles the transition away from driving exceptionally well for a prairie city. It operates a reliable local transit system with buses that connect residential neighborhoods directly to major grocery stores, local pharmacies, and the highly active Moose Jaw and District Seniors Association. You are never truly cut off from daily necessities or social engagement. Crucially, the Dr. F.H. Wigmore Regional Hospital is located right inside the city, providing immediate access to emergency services and essential medical care without forcing you to travel 70 kilometers down the highway to Regina, in the middle of a blizzard. However, The reality check here is absolute, and it comes in the form of the unrelenting Saskatchewan winter. When January arrives, the temperature routinely plunges to a bone-chilling -30 degrees Celsius, and the flat prairie landscape offers absolutely no protection from the howling winds. This extreme extended deep freeze means your home heating costs will devour a massive portion of your monthly income. Older heritage homes, while beautiful, are notoriously difficult to install properly, forcing you to budget strictly on natural gas. Furthermore, the sheer isolation of the prairies means that while local health care is adequate for emergencies, any highly specialized medical treatments will require exhausting travel to larger urban centers. You are securing financial peace, but you are paying for it with 6 months of punishing, geographically isolated winter weather every single year. Moving away from the prairies, we dramatically shift our focus to the province of Quebec, specifically to the historic city of Trois-Rivières, situated perfectly halfway between the massive urban hubs of Montreal and Quebec City along the northern bank of the St. Lawrence River. This is one of the oldest settlements in North America, historically known as the pulp and paper capital of the world. It has successfully transitioned into a vibrant, culturally rich regional center. For a retiree, it offers a deeply European atmosphere, stunning centuries-old architecture, and a level of urban sophistication that is practically unheard of. At this price point, the financial math here is almost difficult to believe for anyone coming from Ontario or British Columbia. You can easily purchase a lovely, historic detached home for roughly $240,000. For this remarkably low price, you are typically looking at a solid, well-kept property featuring exactly 3 bedrooms, 1 full bathroom, plus a half bath, and approximately 1,300 square feet of total usable living space, often complete with a classic front porch and a private backyard. If you prefer to avoid the maintenance of homeownership entirely, the rental market in Trois-Rivières is exceptionally robust. You can effortlessly secure a bright, modern 1-bedroom apartment in a highly walkable neighborhood for roughly $850 a month. This leaves a massive buffer in your $1,800 monthly budget, giving you the freedom to actually enjoy your retirement rather than just surviving it. When you inevitably decide to stop driving, this city ensures you never lose your independence. Trois-Rivières operates a highly efficient and comprehensive public transit network. Local buses provide direct, reliable connections from quiet residential streets to major grocery chains, bustling thrift stores, and lively community centers. More importantly, you are never far from world-class medical care. The massive Hôpital Sainte-Marie is located directly within the city limits. This means you have immediate, round-the-clock access to advanced emergency rooms, cardiac specialists, and specialized senior care units without ever having to coordinate a stressful, long-distance highway commute. However, the reality check in this beautiful city is profound, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the freezing winter temperatures. The true barrier here is linguistic and cultural. Trois-Rivières is a fiercely and proudly francophone city. If you do not speak French fluently, your daily life will become incredibly challenging. Navigating complex medical terminology with a specialist, reviewing legal documents with a landlord, or simply trying to chat with a cashier at the local grocery store can quickly become an isolating experience. While people are generally polite, the language barrier will prevent you from truly integrating into the local community. You are securing an incredibly cheap, beautiful urban lifestyle, but you are trading away the comfort of effortless communication in your native language. Leaving the predominantly French province of Quebec, we cross into the Maritimes to discover a community that literally hugs the United States border, Edmundston, New Brunswick. Nestled deeply within the Appalachian Mountains and defined by the winding St. John River. This city of about 16,000 people possesses a fiercely independent spirit, historically anchored by the massive Twin Rivers paper mill that dominates the skyline. Edmundston serves as the undisputed economic and cultural hub of the Madawaska region. For a retiree operating on a strict government pension, it presents a fascinating opportunity to live in a tight-knit, visually stunning valley where the cost of living feels like it belongs in a different decade. The real estate figures in this border town are nothing short of a financial lifeline. You can realistically purchase a charming, fully detached bungalow for approximately $165,000. At this remarkably accessible price point, you are securing a reliable property featuring exactly 3 bedrooms, 1 full bathroom, alongside a convenient half-bath, and roughly 1,100 square feet of total usable living space, frequently including a full basement and a deep backyard. If buying a property is simply too heavy a burden for your current savings, the local rental market is incredibly accommodating. You can easily sign a lease for a clean, centrally located 1-bedroom apartment for roughly $750 a month. This astonishingly low rent leaves you with over $1,000 from your $1,800 monthly budget to comfortably cover groceries, utilities, and perhaps even a few leisure activities. When the inevitable day arrives that you must surrender your driver's license, Edmundston ensures you are not left stranded in the snow. While it is a smaller regional center, it operates a functional local public transit system that efficiently connects quiet residential streets to large grocery stores, essential pharmacies, and active community centers. More importantly, the Edmundston Regional Hospital is situated right inside the city limits. You have immediate localized access to comprehensive emergency rooms and essential specialized treatments without enduring a grueling, dangerous drive to Fredericton or Moncton in the middle of a blizzard. However, the reality check in this valley is intensely physical and economic. The Appalachian winters here are notoriously brutal, dumping massive amounts of snow that require constant, exhausting shoveling. Furthermore, because older homes in this region frequently rely on outdated electric baseboards or oil furnaces, your monthly heating bills during January and February will ruthlessly attack your fixed income. Economically, the town remains heavily dependent on the forestry sector. As the industry fluctuates, the municipal tax base shrinks, which constantly threatens the long-term funding of the very public services, like transit and healthcare, that seniors rely on the most. You are trading financial anxiety for severe winter weather and a fragile local economy. Leaving the mainland entirely, our journey takes a massive leap across the Atlantic Ocean to the island of Newfoundland, landing directly in the historically significant town of Gander. Globally recognized for its extraordinary aviation history and the heartwarming hospitality shown to stranded passengers during the September 11th attacks, this town of roughly 11,000 people represents the absolute gold standard for community spirit. For a retiree feeling alienated by the cold, impersonal nature of modern urban centers, Gander offers an overwhelmingly welcoming environment where neighbors genuinely look out for one another. The financial reality of securing housing on this island is incredibly encouraging for anyone managing a strict government pension. You can comfortably purchase a traditional, sturdy detached house for roughly $215,000. For this accessible purchase price, you are typically securing a reliable property featuring exactly 3 bedrooms, 1 full bathroom alongside a convenient half-bath, and approximately 1,200 square feet of total usable living space, often complete with a functional basement and a modest backyard. If tying up your remaining capital in real estate is not feasible, the local rental market is remarkably accessible. You can secure a bright, well-maintained 2-bedroom apartment, centrally located for roughly $950 a month. This manageable rent leaves a substantial portion of your $1,800 monthly income untouched, allowing you to comfortably afford groceries, heating utilities, and entertainment. The prospect of losing your driver's license is handled uniquely in this isolated community. While Gander does not operate a traditional public bus network like mainland cities, the town compensates with a tightly woven, subsidized network of accessible senior shuttles and remarkably affordable local taxis. Because the town is geographically concentrated, getting to major grocery chains, pharmacies, and bustling community centers is always quick and inexpensive. Most importantly, the James Peyton Memorial Regional Health Center is situated right inside the community. You have immediate access to vital emergency rooms and essential senior medical services without needing to brave the treacherous winter highways. However, the reality check of living on what locals call the Rock is profoundly geographical and climatic. You are living on a remote island in the North Atlantic. The winter weather here is ferociously unpredictable, delivering massive snowstorms, freezing rain, and howling winds that will drastically inflate your monthly heating bills. Furthermore, while the local hospital is excellent for everyday emergencies, highly specialized medical procedures will force you into an exhausting 3-hour drive to the capital city of St. John's. you are securing an incredibly cheap, beautiful, and connected community. But you are trading away geographical convenience and mild weather, moving completely across the country to the Pacific coast. We find a rare anomaly in the hyperinflated province of British Columbia, nestled deep at the end of a massive Vancouver Island inlet. This city of roughly 18,000 people was built entirely on the back of the forestry and lumber industry, while the towering mills still operate along the waterfront. The community is slowly transitioning into an affordable hub for retirees who desperately want that famous West Coast lifestyle without paying the devastating Vancouver premium. Finding affordable real estate in British Columbia is almost impossible, making the numbers here truly staggering for the region. You can actually purchase a fully detached mid-century home for approximately $395,000. Now, while this is higher than our prairie towns, for this province, it is a massive bargain. At this price point, you are securing a solid property featuring exactly 3 bedrooms, 1 full bathroom, and roughly 1,500 square feet of total usable living space, often boasting a lush backyard and a carport. If your retirement savings cannot absorb a mortgage, the rental market offers a genuine lifeline. You can sign a lease for a clean, centrally located 1-bedroom apartment for roughly $1,200 a month. This leaves a functional, if slightly tighter, margin in your $1,800 monthly budget to cover groceries and utilities the day you are forced to hand over your car keys. Port Alberni ensures you are not trapped in your house. The city operates a highly dependable local transit system, with buses connecting residential streets directly to major grocery chains, pharmacies, and the highly active Sunshine Club for seniors. You remain fully connected to your daily necessities. Crucially, the West Coast General Hospital is located right inside the city limits. This provides immediate, localized access to comprehensive emergency rooms and essential diagnostic services, meaning you do not have to coordinate an exhausting medical trip just for basic care. However, the reality check here is atmospheric and geographical, and it is absolutely relentless. You are trading the freezing snow of the prairies for rain. Port Alberni receives a staggering amount of precipitation, and the dark, endlessly gray winters can severely impact your mental health and trigger seasonal depression. Geographically, while you are on Vancouver Island, leaving the valley requires driving over the Hump, a notorious, winding mountain pass that becomes incredibly treacherous during winter storms. If you ever require highly specialized, complex medical treatments, you will be forced to navigate that highway to reach Nanaimo or Victoria. You are securing affordable coastal living, but you are paying for it with 6 months of heavy rain and a valley that can feel incredibly isolating, leaving the rainy valleys of British Columbia. We make a massive geographic pivot back to the vast, freezing expanse of northern Ontario. Deep within the boreal forest sits the town of Hearst. Originally built as a critical stop along the National Transcontinental Railway, this community of roughly 5,000 people has been historically anchored by the forestry and lumber industry. For a retiree looking to maximize their government pension, Hearst offers a profoundly quiet, affordable, and incredibly resilient northern lifestyle that filters out everyone except the most determined, the real estate market. Here is where the financial math becomes genuinely stunning. You can realistically purchase a classic, solid, detached house for an astonishing $145,000 at this incredibly low price. You are typically securing a reliable property featuring exactly 3 bedrooms, 1 full bathroom, and roughly 1,000 square feet of total usable living space, often complete with a full basement and a functional yard. If taking on property maintenance in the north is not appealing, the local rental market provides an unbeatable alternative. You can secure a clean, basic 1-bedroom apartment for roughly $700 a month. This astonishingly low rent preserves a massive portion of a standard $1,800 monthly budget, giving you complete financial freedom to cover groceries, utilities, and emergency savings. When you can no longer navigate icy roads yourself, Hearst presents a unique mobility landscape because the town does not possess the population to support a large public transit network. Seniors rely heavily on a deeply connected community network, affordable local taxis, and senior-specific shuttle services. The town is highly centralized, meaning grocery stores, pharmacies, and the local recreation center are never far away. Crucially, Hôpital Notre Dame is located directly inside the community. This ensures you have immediate access to a functional emergency room and essential senior care without having to brave the treacherous winter highways for basic medical needs. However, the reality check here is an absolute gauntlet of weather and culture. First, Hearst is overwhelmingly francophone, with the vast majority of residents speaking French as their first language. If you only speak English, you will not face hostility, but you will experience a profound daily sense of social isolation. Second, the Northern Ontario winter is legendary for its brutality. Temperatures regularly plummet to a punishing -30 degrees Celsius, and the deep freeze lasts for over half the year. Heating a poorly insulated older home will brutally devour your fixed income. Furthermore, while the local hospital is adequate for emergencies, any complex medical procedures will require a terrifying multi-hour drive down Highway 11 to Timmins or Sudbury, a route that is frequently closed due to catastrophic winter storms. Leaving the dense boreal forests behind, we are heading back into the vast open expanses of the Canadian prairies to discover a hidden gem in the Parkland region, Dauphin, Manitoba. Originally established as a vital railway settlement and deeply enriched by a massive wave of Eastern European immigration, this city of roughly 8,000 people is profoundly proud of its agricultural roots and its vibrant Ukrainian heritage. Surrounded by incredibly fertile farmland and sitting just north of the breathtaking Riding Mountain National Park, Dauphin offers a slow, methodical pace of life that appeals directly to retirees who want to step off the modern treadmill and stretch their government pensions to the absolute maximum. You look at the real estate market in this prairie city, the financial pressure of retirement almost entirely evaporates. You can comfortably purchase a solid, well-maintained detached house for approximately $135,000. For this remarkably accessible price, you are securing a reliable, permanent home featuring exactly 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and roughly 1,100 square feet of total usable living space, often complete with a finished basement and a sizable backyard for gardening. If purchasing a property and dealing with maintenance is not part of your retirement vision, the local rental market is incredibly accommodating. You can effortlessly sign a lease for a clean, secure 1-bedroom apartment in a quiet neighborhood for roughly $750 a month. This leaves a massive portion of your standard $1,800 monthly budget completely untouched, allowing you to comfortably afford groceries, utilities, and emergency savings. When the day finally comes that you must surrender your car keys, Dauphin ensures that you are never left isolated in your home. While it lacks a massive urban bus network, the city supports a dedicated mobility service for seniors and highly affordable local taxis, because the community is geographically compact, traveling to major grocery chains, pharmacies, and the highly active Dauphin Multipurpose Senior Center is always a quick and inexpensive trip. Most importantly, the Parkland Regional Health Center is located directly within the city limits. This provides immediate, localized access to a fully functional emergency room and essential diagnostic services, meaning you never have to coordinate an exhausting road trip just for basic medical care. However, the reality check in this prairie community is an absolute gauntlet of weather and geographical isolation. First, the Manitoba winter is famously unforgiving. Temperatures routinely plunge to a punishing -20 degrees Fahrenheit, and the relentless prairie winds can make it feel significantly colder. Heating an older home through these extended deep freezes will aggressively attack your fixed income. Furthermore, while the local hospital is completely adequate for daily emergencies, any requirement for highly specialized medical procedures will force you to endure a grueling 200-mile drive south to the city of Winnipeg. You are trading financial anxiety for severe winter weather and a profound distance from major urban centers. For our absolute final destination, we travel to the rugged, forested landscape of Cumberland County to uncover a community that defines sheer resilience, Spring Hill, Nova Scotia. Historically, this town was synonymous with coal mining, but that legacy carries a deeply tragic weight. The community endured devastating underground mining disasters, known locally as the bumps, which eventually forced the industry to collapse entirely in the late 1950s, devastating the local economy. However, instead of fading away, Spring Hill discovered a miraculous second act. those incredibly deep abandoned mine shafts flooded with groundwater. And today, that naturally warmed water is being utilized as a cutting-edge geothermal energy source to heat local commercial buildings. It is a town that literally reinvented itself from the ground up, offering an incredibly quiet, a historically rich environment for retirees who want to completely escape the modern rat race. The housing market here delivers the ultimate financial shock of this entire list, presenting numbers that seem almost frozen in time. You can easily purchase a fully detached, traditional home for an unbelievable $115,000. For this remarkably accessible price tag, you are securing a solid, permanent property featuring exactly 3 bedrooms, 1 full bathroom, and roughly 1,200 square feet of total usable living space, often complete with a classic front porch and a private backyard. If purchasing real estate and managing repairs is not your goal, the local rental market remains incredibly affordable. You can sign a lease for a clean, basic 1-bedroom apartment near the center of town for roughly $700 a month. This astonishingly low housing cost preserves almost your entire $1,800 monthly budget, giving you absolute financial freedom to handle groceries, utilities, and perhaps a small travel fund. When you inevitably decide to stop driving, Spring Hill requires a significant adjustment. The town does not operate a traditional urban bus network. Instead, seniors rely on a highly localized network of neighbors, extremely affordable local taxis, and community shuttles to navigate the area. Because the town is small, getting to the local pharmacy, the grocery store, and the vibrant Anne Murray Center is always a short trip. However, medical access is a mixed reality. While the All Saints Hospital provides essential community health services and basic care, any major emergencies or highly specialized treatments will force you to travel over 25 miles north to the regional hospital in Amherst. The reality check. Here is an intense combination of isolation and atmospheric pressure. The maritime winter is fiercely unforgiving, frequently delivering massive snowstorms and howling winds that drop temperatures well below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Heating an older property will ruthlessly drain your fixed income if it is not properly insulated. Furthermore, the local economy remains painfully thin, meaning the town is constantly fighting to maintain its basic retail services. You are securing absolute financial peace, but you are trading away urban convenience and immediate access to advanced medical care. We have just crossed the entire country, exploring 10 completely different communities that all share one crucial characteristic. They are places where a Canadian senior living strictly on a government pension can actually afford to put a roof over their head without facing the terrifying prospect of daily hunger. But as we have seen, the underlying structural reality of affordable Canadian real estate is that cheap housing never comes without a cost. You are never simply buying a cheap house. You are making a profound life choice about what you are willing to sacrifice. In your final decades, every single town we covered today forces you to navigate the brutal tension between affordability and viability. Are you willing to trade the absolute financial peace of a paid-off home in Northern Ontario for a winter that traps you indoors for months? Are you prepared to sacrifice immediate access to a world-class cardiologist in a major city for the undeniable warmth of a tightly knit island community in Newfoundland? Or perhaps you are ready to give up the convenience of urban public transit for the quiet, debt-free isolation of a prairie town where you actually know the name of your local grocer. There is no perfect answer here. The right choice depends entirely on whether you prioritize financial survival, physical health access, or social connection. But the conversation absolutely does not end here. I want to hear directly from you. Would you actually consider moving to any of the 10 towns we discussed today? Have you already made the leap to a small rural community to save your retirement? Or do you know of another hidden gem in this country that we completely missed? Leave a detailed comment down below and share your reality with this community. If this kind of unfiltered, deeply researched analysis helps you navigate the Canadian housing crisis, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We will see you in the next video.